Hello and welcome. What I think I'm going to want to do is put in quick videos, and it's going to be a little bit before I'll start this, where I'll go through all my coins and give you a quick analysis on the situation. And this one here, I'm bullish on this, as I like how this is playing within the 18 average of highs, and really that's all that needs to be stated there. Now I can do this on my ratios for one day, maybe. On September 27th, I was looking at Bittrex coins of what I might want to cross. And I pretty much got to metal, and then I stopped doing it. All in chronological order. And then I really thought, no, I got a bunch of Ethereum crosses, but just something I thought would work together. And just as an example, let's just see what this art thing is doing. I mean, there was a reason I put it on here for. If I thought it was tradable one form or another, I thought, yeah, let's do it. Now, why did I think this is well, volatility? Yeah. So on one day I might go over something like this one before I delete it. But what I can do also is I can add another list of what you, the people, would want to see. Of course, don't pick anything that's on this list here. Now, codes is like whatever, all this stuff, but like gold, silver, a bunch of other stuff. But like all of these coins, don't say, oh, I want to see Theta against Bitcoin. I'm already showing it. No, don't say Ripple. Don't say Litecoin. Don't say Go. I'm already showing it. So basically, what I would do, and normally I'd pause the tape before I go to it, and it's unfortunately taking a while for the 18 to load, but that's fine. There we go. There's one of it. There's two of it. So what my and I of course in advance I would study what I would be looking at, so I would make the video faster. And in study terms, like this is raw broadcast here. And in this situation, well, I would be like, okay, well, maybe I could put a line up here. There's the resistance. You should already know what my answer is going to be. It's majorly cautious and a major bearish setup in play. And the overall look, if I were to pick bearish, bullish, or neither, three choices, I would pick bearish. And really, a lot of this would be hedging your bets in a sense if you were, like, say, playing other coins long, but in this, we can see this level of support is resisting, showing a lot of weakness within the 18 lows. But it's one of those ones where you got two different layers to go through. Like you can see, you got to go through this part here and then break it down. So there's two layers of support it's got to break. One, the excitation of the 18, which it really isn't having. It did have it on the October the 1st. I guess if you were to go short on this day, your stop, I guess, would be above this line, and so on and so forth. So the next one, I'm just going to pause the tape now and just do the next one quick. Dash is very similar to Bitcoin Cash. We're looking at the possible failed breakout in here, and we've had several lower highs and lower lows. At some point, this downtrend has to end. Is it going to end now? Maybe. It's got to get above this line. Right now, we're seeing a lot of weakness here within the 18, but just like Bitcoin Cash, it's got to break down this layer of support. Here's your early part right here, and then breaking down below this. You would expect on a move here that you should find support here, but it might be weak, and it might be, yeah, weak as in you might get resistance here, you might chop through it through time. But when you have a failed move like this, the odds are breaking down below the 18 lows on here is a lower low, not a matching low before the next move above the 18 highs. Good move, that is. DGB, also that big downtrend. We can see this failed breakout, down move. Even this one, well, lately what we're doing is we're having another move. Whether it'll fail or pass, I don't know yet. Resistance comes in at 96. Clear break above, leaving the 18 like this. That's just a huge pattern. But if this play fails, and I need to see around this area here not hold, well, again, same thing. Probably at least come down to this low. More likely, if it were to come here, I wouldn't be surprised if it shot back and forth like this a bit, but same thing. There's a good chance it could make a new low below that. But again, breaking above this resistance and markets going up, they can be very wild when they do this, as far as markets go up faster than they go down. Ethereum Classic showing a lot of the similar sort of patterns here, the weakness amongst this, grinding its way within the 18. And key support hasn't really, this level of key support here has been matching. So roughly the area between 5560 to 50, like the 5500 handle, the 55 numbers, big support. So if you see clear breaks in the 54s, don't be surprised if there's a decent sized move. Any quick rallies, I'll be looking to the 18 average of highs, and like you see here, three big candles when it went up in here after it corrected its first lows. Another way of saying they go up faster than they go down, and you can see such the case here. Go chain, shown here with improper logarithmic scaling, looks like this. And within the log scale, we see a lot of these big choppy moves, and I've talked a lot recently about this particular coin and why I'm bullish on it. As far as following the money is concerned, I guess you can call it a tangible level. But with that being said, when you see coins like this, oh, the other ones are showing weakness on the lows, and this one's showing weakness or strength on the highs. Well, it means on the ratio ones, you're at the stage now where you're selling this coin for the other ones. Because you know the other ones, to me, they're going to, as long as you believe in a long term, at some point they're going to go back and forth. Because how many times do I say markets go up, markets go down, markets go up, markets go down? Because that's exactly what they do. So I'm looking at this. It looks like this is going to have another up move. And then what happens after the up move is done? It goes down. I already talked about GRS earlier, but it's obviously a very bullish setup, which is why I chose it as my earlier video. H bar, Hadara, I don't know how it's pronounced, but 18 average, you can barely see it here, which means today is day number 18 of this on the market. So I have to use a shorter term time frame, and I like to use a daily chart because to me that's one of the better ones to go with on this. And with using the hour, when we see these moves, so here's a move 474 down to 440. Nothing great, but it's something for short term. It really is just going sideways, but another attempt to break out like it was here. So it's a second attempt. Because these moves going above the highs here really, I mean, barely a small attempt in here. And then when you look at the volatility of the moves coming in, and this is early and it's still early. And I like the setup overall where we see this little play in here, this little situation. I think it looks pretty good, but the overall volatility, we can see big move. I mean, when you look at the level, this is 500 going down to 410. That's still 20%, and this is just the hourly time frame. This is from well, September 28th, start of the day, to September 29th at the middle of the day, so day and a half, or day and 3/4. And we have Komodo, which is showing more possible bullish strength situation. As we can see within this and the 18, well, there was a big decline. But from this bottom, we had an attempt to get above in here. How much of a failed move was it? Fast move was it? Yeah, normal. Because failed move, fast move, well, there's your failed breakout attempt. Oftentimes from that, well, I'm expecting a concise move, which would be a lower low. That's a lower low, so moves over. And then you resist the highs, nothing there. We don't have a clear break below the lows, no. An attempt, a statement saying, oh, I want to go above, but it didn't break down. So there's a statement. Now, after the statement was being made there, oh, now we're seeing all of this in here. So we know there's a major resistance level above here. So if this gets to like 7 and, well, even 7.5, let me just clear those lines so I can see a better number. Yeah, breaking above 750 change, 750 to 760 handle, which is 7,500 to 7,600. There's just one less decimal on this. That's a big, strong situation. And we see the tendency here. Oh, a lot of coins are either showing strength at the highs or weakness on the lows right now. Next up is LITECOIN, and we can see on this failed breakout, it's just been a long plethora of lower highs and lower lows. 1, 2, bing, they're all there. So some highs, we got this, and you could use the 18 average of highs. As long as it can, well, even this, I know it didn't hit it here, but even still, this was a good move, but it's still not greater really than this one. However, this low is technically a higher low. And I don't even know if I want to call this a matching low. This is the possibility of that failed breakdown. But as I've stated before on failed moves, or failed breakouts or downs, either way, they're both the same on when you look at it. When you come up to this is either going to be resistance or not. And resistance is like, okay, leg lower, resist where you came from within the newly or a declining 18, and then you leave the 18, which it's had a plethora of a lot of opportunities in here to do that, but it hasn't done that, at least not as of yet. It's still got a decent, got a little ways to go. It's got to get to like past that 7 handle, just get to the 18 average of highs, and then it's got to get nicely above it, around 71 and change, 715 or so handle, to have a clear break above that, above it. Sort of like in here, this was a clear break above the 18 average of highs in there. And then how do you hold it afterwards? This was a successful correction, given it had that leg higher. And then obviously an unsuccessful correction in here. But this is really interesting as I'm looking at it. So I'm spending more time on this because I am a little fascinated on this maneuver. And then when you look at just this, when you look like draw something like this, well, markets go up, markets go down. This is the down, and then oftentimes you go sideways. So when you go up and down, when you do a sideways, well, the next move can only be up or down. So say it's down, well, now it can only be sideways or up. And there's only 3 ways it can move. And when it's sideways, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say up and down. If it's sideways, it's like a pause. It's a wait. Okay, we're just gonna wait and see because anything like this, I mean, that's just resumption of what started here, which is like a complete an uptrend. And we can see in here that markets go up, markets go down. So there's down, sideways, down, and it's been sideways so far. With amongst the sideways, you're going to see there's just a lot of trading opportunities when markets go like this. But in looking at just the more recent range as it's in, I mean, how can I call this anything but neutral right now? It did have an attempt to break out above this, so yes, I'm concerned is the one word to use, or on yellow alert, but it's got to break down below this support. So far the 18 lows is holding, but we're seeing no clear break resistance. It's in, we'll call it the middle of this range. At least it's a decent ways away from both the highest and lowest ends, so nothing more to say but neutral on this. Raven coin on its daily chart. I like what we're seeing here within the 18 highs, although we do have symmetricalness here. So normally I'm just going to show daily, but when you see something like this, what's when you, well, first you got to realize, okay, it's got a nice bullish pattern still going on. I'm looking for the failure of the 18 lows for this setup to be dead or over, or look towards a bearish setup. So even if it breaks it, well, that's just where next support is. And getting above this area, you can see right now, getting like in the 380s area. And that's big alert. Okay, this could go. And then the alert levels get higher when it has a clear break above 400. And then they get superior when it breaks about 428. And then after that, it gets even more superior, breaking 535-ish. So as far as the more recent term move is concerned, and we look at this on the hourly, we have a level of resistance in here. And this is Bittrex mainly because that's the market I'm trading it on. Binance has a better one, but because I'm using Bittrex to trade this, that's why I chose this. But 374 to 379, we can see getting above in here would be a big move and a big deal. Because after we've had these down moves come to an end above the 18 highs, support it. New leg higher. It supports it here, but this is a failed breakdown in here, this little move in here. And we can see it's already showing signs of that fast move coming in. So we've hit this level of resistance, a little bit of a pullback, so huge this 18 average of lows, because if this succeeds, we'll be looking at a big move. But if it fails, well, at least come down to tests probably next somewhere within these 2 lows here as its next support mark. And it could be just a match of previous low in here. It's had a good run, so a match for now could easily be support. Next up is Sky, which has also been down a lot. But it's showing strength right now amongst the 18 average of highs. In fact, this looks like a pretty good setup right now. Seeing this first get at about 60, if you see it around 67 change, I mean, now this thing's got the potential to do something like this at least. Again, like always, I'm looking for the 18 average of lows to say that this move is done. If it comes down to it, it could pierce below it. But it's really one leg lower rule. If it comes down in here, at least for a move like this, it's one leg. And then if it comes down somewhere around here, okay, well that's the big area it's got to hold. It's got to stop going down, at least a decent leg lower from here on the time frame, and it usually does. And if you do see stuff like this, it's pretty common. I mean, that's just finding support near. The question would be, does it hold and stay above it? But again, if you're looking for the setup right now, the setup looks very probable that we might have a move here coming pretty good. That's pretty good. But breaking out above this, just a good setup, to say the least. Next up is Theta Fuel. And the only reason I have this is because they were given to me, because I had them during one of those forks or whatever, but it's been a continuous downtrend. So for fun, I thought about trading against Theta, but I'm thinking, you know what, that just to me doesn't sound smart because they're hand-in-hand coins. So I thought I'm trading this against LITECOIN and a pure bear market strategy, because I'm thinking of coins like this. Why would you really go long too aggressively for investment purposes for stuff like this or the Neo Gas and coins of that nature? They're just going to go down. They're not going to do as good as Theta or their regular class, but that's how I'm doing it. So far, so good. So basically, what it means is, in its ratio, when Theta has a rally, I'm really going to just be more aggressive selling it. Meaning, I'll look for a good 10, 12% moves to sell this rally, but when it goes the other way, I'm looking for much larger moves. So I'm expecting Litecoin against Theta Fuel to continue be higher high, higher low. So I'm trying to see the best I can. And to me, because I'm given free coins, it's really for free roll. And Theta, that's actual main coin from these highs, what do we see for lows and highs? It's not the greatest of log scale, but I'm not going to put the other one in. Each of these lows here were lower. Then we have matching low and really matching low again. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Betweening matching and lower, it's pretty. I can make a case for both. If it's lower, barely lower. If it's matching, it's aggressively lower. It's kind of close. As far as where we see what this is doing, we barely get above the highs, barely go below. Barely kind of get above, barely get below, and it's in it. So neutral again, to say the least, but we haven't had any clear break above this. We haven't had any real good moves above the highs. And when it does, if you look at the mathematics on this, just as a setup, when your high is here, and you have an 18 moving like this, well, it gives you the understanding that if it breaks like 11, 15, I mean, this thing could easily go up almost a couple hundred points just to get back to previous highs. And then you never know if it's going to beat it. And oftentimes, it could really have big moves. But the next quick move is in line for a decent percentage gain. So when you're looking for risk-reward ratios, plays like this, because of the way it's set up, it could be pretty good. Next up is Tron, which, I mean, these aren't really attempts. These are statements of, okay, get above the 18 average of highs, let me see you try to do something. And if you can't even get the 18 average to flatten, that's not doing anything. So nothing there. And here, that was a real attempt. Failed move, fast move. Same thing here to this. Nothing spectacular. But in here, things have changed because it got to this high, albeit a lower matching to this level, but still enough to make this 18 flatten. Establish level of resistance, stage number 2. Stage 3, come back to support. And as I mentioned, it's okay to go below the 18 lows. We can see it held and stayed above it for 2 days, but it also means when you see this, now you know your must-hold area. So if I want to look for failure on the 18 lows, now I know the support level needs to break below. Of course, it didn't do that. We have been seeing for the last week or so strength amongst the 18 average of highs, clearly getting above around 190. This thing has major potential. Looking at waves, we can see they had this big move in here. Those who sold, they end up could have got a better price, still was right, as the downtrend has been long. We have a high here, end of last year. And then it established some level of support that it took the end of March to break. So from April on, it's been in nothing but a bear market. Failed rally attempt from failed moves, fast move. Nothing much here. A band flattening here, but that's all it did. Band flattening here, and then a small failed breakout because it got above after flattening the band. A little bit of a leg lower, so yeah, fast move happened. And now since this, nothing more than really band flattening out. Even though it's declining on the highs, that's whatever. This is band flattening out. An attempt here. But what's interesting about this is here's a breakout, a failed breakout. And then it comes down to this low here, which it's okay. Well, it's either a failed breakout here, or failed breakdown there, but it's just in the sideways range. So another one that's neutral, where you're waiting for a clear break of either way. But you expect a decent leg on either or situation. You break this, you got all this empty space, and of course, if you break the lows, well, we got all this empty space to however low it may go. Within stellar lumens, we can see all of these, well, this uptrend here broke, obviously, so it's been a downtrend. Let's look for those failed moves. Let's look for the rally attempts. Band flattening out. There's your failed rally. So where do we see weakness on the 18 lows? Because that's what I talk about all the time when these moves. That's what I need to see. Well, it comes down to it. It's not here. This is where you could, it was close. Obviously it was. But okay, I don't know yet. Now you're looking again. You're waiting for that situation. So there's your early attempt on it, and now you know this. It's either going to be a failed when it breaks down this support. This is either going to be a failed breakdown, or it's going to resist pretty much where it came from. Well, it resisted where it came from, and there's more excitation of the 18 there. And then if you're looking for, oh my goodness, if we break below 22.59, it's going to go down. Well, yeah, it did. So then we continue on further. There's another failed breakout in here. Band flattens, this little move in here. And now we're looking for weakness on the low. So like I say, it can go down below it. That was fine. And even in a situation like this, if it pierces below it on a further move, no, that's pretty much just upgrading or downgrading, however you want to look at it, its level of support. But we can see as it was leaving the 18 in here, what happened afterwards, significant leg lower. So what has happened since? We had a little small attempt in here, because really all this did was flatten out the band, barely starting to rise, but still leaving in here, significant leg lower. And now what are we seeing? Okay, well, in this situation in here, we got this level of support. We still haven't made a higher low in this. Well, yeah, this is a higher low, and this is a higher high. But when it comes down to it, on the stages, and it's doing this on an aggressive level, band flattening it. Stage 2, establish resistance. Stage 3, come back. Have your correctionary move. And that's what it's been having now, showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs. So the levels we're looking at, getting above the highs would be around 754 handle. Getting above this resistance is clearly would be about 809. And the big one getting above this high would be about 950. And just two left, Ripple and Tezos. This being Ripple. And the downtrend. So we can see at least from this failed move, okay, well, support it. Unable to break above. So if you're waiting for a break above here, you didn't get in on the action and it worked out. If you got in on here, well, then you would have had to take a loss. We can see how it shows weakness in here, but really, I would be most concerned on this, because even though it broke down below here, yeah, that was showing still cautionary signs, but the big one was breaking this, and you can see likelihood of finding much support here is usually not, oftentimes isn't good. And you realize if you break it, it could have significant moves lower, and it did, down to this low. Then this showing a little bit of strength at the highs in here, not able to get above that resistance, not finding support where it came from, and then the three little bears I talk about, not too big, small, or large of a move. Well, this was about a normal size move. Okay, so now we have this band flattening. Okay, here we are. Establish resistance. Come back to this band. Now, technically, this isn't a clear breakout, so it's still showing a lot of this strength. And this is the daily time frame, just amongst this 18 high, so it's done it for a while. Getting above about all threes is even higher than that. I'd want to see it getting above like 3,500. At that point, that's when we know it could be off to the races. And that's when we could talk about like key high, key low, and let's forget all about these short-term highs and lows on the way there. What's the next one going to be? Is it going to be here, here as a not so great move? Maybe it's here, or who knows how much higher after that, because these things can go wild when they choose, or at different times in the past they have done so magnificently on these spots. And now we got Binance available to U.S. citizens again. At least I don't know how the details. I'm not American. I'm Canadian. I can probably count how many hours I've been in the United States in my life in less than 20 minutes. And it would be in three figures, over 100, under 1,000. I think, well, 1 week. What's 1 week? 7 times 24. 24, that's 140. Yeah, oh yeah, easily, easily, easy. And finally, Tezos. And I know I can show you a different time frame, but since I'm trading it on Binance and it's the one that I quickly go to, I'm going to have to show you this on a shorter term. But hey, it's doing good so far on the first early parts of Binance. Now, I'm surprised on this that the volume on it is as low as it is. As you could, it's not doing. I mean, it's got okay volume, but if you look at its coin on other exchanges, Binance is like the baby exchange on it, which really doesn't make much sense. Like Huobi's doing better than Binance on this. Oh well, I expect this to work out for me. We'll see if it does. But looking at this on a shorter term, and within the hour, when I look at something like this, what comes to my head is, how do I profit on this? In that, the pattern's so obvious. If you got to be looking at the same pattern I am. I mean, this is just making a consistent, nice pattern of higher highs and matching and lower lows like this, and all these up and down moves. How do you take advantage of it? Well, if you ever have a question like that, well, first ask yourself the question, and then figure it out. You can use calculators, you can use spreadsheets, you can download data if you will, go through different types of ideas and creatively, and then just try to think, okay, well, how would they work and how can I implement them in the future? And well, the more things like that that you do, well, the better of a trader and technical analysis person you can be. Uh, yeah. So thank you for tuning in, and again for the next segment of just showing, like, let me know what coins in exchange, uh, da 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 da, like crosses kind of deal. They will be more favoritism. The favoritism will be based on how much I like the crosses, and even for that matter, the for those who make comments. The more active you have been on the channel, the more gifts in Bitcoin you've sent in the past, or maybe you've communicated with email. I know a couple of people I've talked to on email and stuff like that. Yeah, there's going to be higher priority there. But if you don't hardly comment at all and you put one in, there's a good chance, given the low volume of rates of viewers that I get, that you'll get that cross in there. And as I move forward, of course, I'll add coins in there and that. And these will be coins I can get in and out of as well. Different times gives me a reason to look at them as well. But then just go through the quick analysis, similar to like this, because I was very amazed on how well I think I did this video, which is why I'm going to entitle it like a premium content on it, like all coins versus Bitcoin kind of deal. Because I think this was a damn good video, one that is reasonable. Where I'd be like, oh, this is like one I could charge like $4, $5 for, or whatever, just if I wanted to do it. Although I'm not going to do anything like that. Although those who do help out with the ad revenues, that helps out a bit. And different, of course, crypto gifts, those are magnificent as well. But it was fun doing it of this nature. And again, we got as far as the codes are concerned, like these ones here, you got like your Dow Jones, your dollar index, Ethereum, the gold, the silver, and stuff like that. It's taking a long time to load here. And then things like, yeah, again, this one here was just like a whatever. I'd probably see if this loads fast or slow. This is just crazy. Oh, yeah, there we go. So if we just take a look at one random one again, maybe I'll just show all these. Like this is down 17%. So let's quickly go through every time frame to end this video on this. Hourly, big move down. It was way oversold as it was going like 270, 204. And then it would even in here. Okay, this was an interesting part because here we have a failed breakdown in here. But there's no fast move. Oftentimes for failed moves, was fast moves in the opposite direction. Maybe this is still the case, although it's taken a long time for that move to take place. It's got to get above this resistance. But this thing looks fragile on this time frame to break down below there after this large move. Now, one of the reasons I probably put this on the list was because of its extreme volatility. Maybe it got delisted on this day too, which would have been interesting because this happened at 1900 hours. This would have happened like just a couple, 4 or 5. It would have been the afternoon. I would have done it like 1400 hours, 1500 hours. I put this list together. So I'm assuming the volatility is why I have it on the list. Let's take a look at the next time frame. Let's go 8 hour. And my guess, it got delisted, which was going to be one. I didn't make the video of this, but one of my warnings is, do you play coins like this? And I did do this in a couple other videos as well recently. But you're risking the fact of it being delisted. This is a huge move, 600 down to 200. Wow. Now the reason I put this on the list was because, and this is going back to March on the 8-hour time frame, is because of how I was admired by its moves that choppily go above and below the 18 average of highs and lows. But then its volatility, 1200 down to like 971, and just this little move in here. And you can see this. It's like I was looking at this and thinking, yeah, I mean, this in here, this is so profitable if you can take advantage of this. And simply the basic buy low, sell high strategy I talk about will kick ass on this, as long as you're active and you replace your orders here and there. And yeah, just a lot of this to me look like right in here. This looks so awesome. 500 up to like 600. That's over 20%. And this is spanning like August 6th to like, this is like, I'll take advantage of that. You can see these moves in here. And then, of course, this just happened. So let me just clarify that it's being delisted, but I'm pretty much 98, 99% certain it has been. Now it's loading. And I don't know why my chart didn't load on me, but yeah, it's going to be removed on October the 11th. So thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.